what's going on? Welcome to another episode of Entertainment 411. I'm not alone. It's Three Squares today. Hello, Katie. Hello, Michael. Welcome to the stream. How are you guys?
Good. Thanks for having us.
Doing well.
Thank God you guys came. I appreciate you guys. I've been by myself. I've been talking distribution by myself, and I don't know what I'd be talking about.
I would like to see that.
Huh? You would like to see that?
Yeah.
Distribution is all about evenly giving people things. That is what distribution is. Guys, if you haven't been on the show before, this is Entertainment 411. We do things entertainment, all things acting, producing, writing, modeling, camera operating, makeup, costume, set deck, set design, anything that has to do with our industry. We are streaming live. And today we're going to be talking to a couple experts on what it takes to get your product anywhere, on network, online, on YouTube, on Bell 5, on CBC, CTV, CTS, NBC, LMNOP, and all the other acronyms that are out there. Afterwards, a special event. We're going to have a live stream party for my project, of course, which is a web series called Day Players. But in the interim, I'd like to introduce you to our panelists. So, to my right, I think, is everyone seeing right? Yes, is a good friend of mine, someone who I've worked with many times and many years, is Katie Uhlmann, who is now also just recently announced as the new president of Web Series Canada. So, Katie, welcome again, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's great to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. Katie has developed a wonderful series called Cows Come Home, and it is now going to be streaming very shortly on Bell 5, correct?
Yes, in June 11th it launches.
June 11th, and we have a little teaser clip just so you guys can see. Keep in mind, this is still raw. This doesn't have any of the coloring and anything like that, but it's still going to promise you it's going to look very well polished. This is Katie Uhlmann's show, Cows Come Home. Here's a little teaser. Stay tuned.
Haylofts up above. Keep the younger heifers up front and those soon to be bred are out back.
That's her.
Her rib spacing is perfect. What's her name?
Her name is Janelle Dorman Beckett.
Janelle. You could tell that this is actually a very literal title of your show, correct?
Yeah. It's a comedy about friendship set in the world of competitive cow showing.
Amazing. I love it. Very niche, but very relatable, I'm sure. Tell me a little bit about your project. Give us like a rundown of, the process, Cole's notes, step by step, the idea all the way to, getting it on Bell 5. Like, what's the process for something like this?
My writing partner, Lindsay Middleton, grew up as a champion cow show person. So we decided to develop a show in that world. And we connected at a time that was very rock bottom for both of us personally and professionally. So we had some time on our hands and decided to create this wacky show and met in coffee shops and developed the characters and the storyline for months and months. Then applied to Bell 5. Had a meeting with them, and they're great folks over there. Didn't hear back right away. Then ended up doing the TIFF Television Accelerator Program in fall 2023 with the project, which was really interesting and great. I'd never done one of the TIFF talent programs before.
That was a big laurel on the resume right there.
Absolutely. And as soon as you do that, you can put that logo on your pitch deck.
Yeah.
And we really use that to the best we could. And then Bell came back and said, do you want to do the show? And we said, yes. We got a bit of funding from them. Then we went and raised some private financing and then also applied to Ontario Creates, who came in with the bulk of it. So that's kind of the model. And then we brought on an exec producer, writer, Carrie Ferenz, who is in the Shaftesbury stable of writers, to help us really shape it and do test read-throughs, and we did many drafts. David Crothers, who produces all my projects, he EP'd it as well. And then, yeah, I mean, really put together the team and shot this thing September, October in Niagara. And now we're in post, which
Absolutely.
is its own thing. But yeah, we feel very lucky, you know, to be in the position to make a show, even if it's a lower budget project, is a dream come true. And knock on wood, nobody got hurt. No animals got hurt. It went fairly smoothly.
Amazing. Yeah, you make it. You say it like it was such a simple task, but there was so many different moving parts. For me, the one that always gives me like a brain aneurysm is all the applications and the fundings and the tax grants. What do you think was like the hardest one for you to get through it and your team? I know you have a team of producers who have done this for a very long time, but was there one application that like it was a pretty heavy ask that you guys found that was the most difficult?
I mean, once you do one application, they're all similar. It really was Lindsay and I, team of two, doing the applications.
Wow.
And that part is difficult because you have to get your show to a point, and you're doing a lot of, well, for us, we did a lot of unpaid work. We didn't get any development money. Yeah, like over 6 months of just developing this thing in our spare time. And then I do have a few mentors who I'll send the budget to and say, can you check this? Should we move anything around? Will you read this? The hardest one, I mean, they're honestly all kind of similar. They are laborious, but I just encourage people to do it. Get a mentor who you trust, who can help like guide you a bit and bite the bullet. It's not fun. But then again, who has access to free money? Like, we are so lucky in Canada to even have that access. So if I have to write 3 grant applications to get one, I actually think that's a win.
Absolutely. Yeah. Give us like a quick, and then Michael, I didn't forget about you. We're just doing.
It's okay. I'm hiding down here.
You're here. You're good. You're good. You know what? I could do this. Look at this. Wow. There you go. Okay, Katie, give us just a quick Cole's note, like play by play. Because here's the thing I always bring up on this channel. The joke about producing is there's no playbook. No one teaches you how to do it. There's no school to go to it. There's no school of the producing arts. It's not a thing. You sort of learn through experience and trials and tribulations and mentorship. Give us like just a step-by-step of like, what was the order in which you did things to get Cows Come Home produced, like before you went to camera? So was it series deck first, then pitching, then script? Like what was your order?
Okay. Developing characters, story arcs, synopsis, scripts. Then we made the pitch deck. TIFF Accelerator helped us a lot with that. It was a very sales-oriented, international co-production-oriented program. So we got schooled on our pitch deck, which was terrible when we entered and quite good when we left. And yeah, it's sort of like it's not so linear in a way. But then once we got the funding from Bell 5, I was like, we're going to do this show, whether it's on this much money or on a bigger budget. Like, we're going to make this work, kind of just committed to it. And then obviously, yeah, and then continuing to develop the creative until it was at a point we were happy with. And simultaneously, you know, talking to locations, talking to catering providers, starting to think about casting, reaching out to vendors, starting to think about, you know, you have your insurance, your clearances, all of the sort of nuts and legal, getting a music supervisor on early and start talking about music. It's this funny thing as a producer, and it's, you know, I do it because I'm a creative. I want to direct more, and, you know, but I joke that realistically, when you're a producer creative, 90% is admin. Like, I'm just like admin, like, and then when I get to do the creative, it's amazing. But it's just, you have to be at all times thinking, what can I do today, right now? And then also have your eye on the prize in the future. And it's a little bit trial and error, a little bit. Like, I do think it's an experiment, and sometimes I don't know, and we're going to try. And if it doesn't work, okay, and if it works, great, and that's the risk you run in this industry.
Absolutely. You got to shoot your shot.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
We're all gonna die.
Matter of time. That's Katie Uhlmann, ladies and gentlemen. Again, producers of Cows Come Home. We're all gonna die. We have that captured and we have it recorded. We will be playing it everywhere. Just kidding. To her right, of course, is Michael Davison, who is the founder and creator of Image Killer. He's also a producer. I met this gentleman at a TIFF mixer. This is how you got to get things made. No, seriously, think about it. If I didn't meet you, this would have never flourished. So
Yeah, it's true.
Michael, you'd have a distribution channel essentially on YouTube. You have over 15,000 subscribers, and you have everything from short films to documentaries to limited series like our own. So this is also why we're doing our live stream party today. Michael is actually hosting our series on his channel on YouTube. So he has acquired day players, and we're going to talk about that process. But quickly, here's the trailer for the show y'all are going to see later on today. Day players, stay tuned.
You are a born protagonist. Look at you. You're a failed professional.
Okay, I wouldn't say failed.
You're a finding bastion of hope in a rundown old school.
I mean, it's not that
It
bad.
just happens to be shared by the only woman who ever broke your heart.
What did you do?
Shh. Just watch.
I've got a lot of auditions lined up. Like, so many auditions.
I can imagine. I can relate. I'm having so many bookings. Like, it's like a library, just books everywhere.
That's right. You're looking at the host of Canada's Next Great Handyman.
I nailed my audition, bro. They said they'd call me.
Guys, I'm going to be the host of Canada's Next Great Handyman.
You are looking at the host of
Right over
Okay, I'm feeling a little bit of hostility from you right now.
Oh, please mansplain it to me so I can understand it better.
Clearly you don't know what mansplaining is. Let me break it down for you.
He's dead.
Which is the purest and greatest form of theater? Improvisation.
Told you I would eat you. I told you I would.
Woo! Let's go!
I cannot watch this anymore. This is agony.
Ignore that. 2025, not 2024. We had higher hopes. Obviously, we got delayed a bit. So, Michael, tell us about Image Killer. Tell us about the creation of the channel and how you got into distribution and how you look for content and how you acquire content.
Yeah, absolutely. The channel I started actually with a couple of friends of mine from film school. Actually, we had produced a bunch of series together. We produced a narrative podcast series, which was also called Image Killer, which is where the channel sort of originated. It was like a serial killer, a social media serial killer narrative podcast, and it was great. We built like a little community around it. And we were like, cool, let's keep this going. And one of the hardest parts with YouTube distribution is keeping a drip of content going. And it's tough when you're deciding you want to make a scripted, narrative, higher budget series because they don't finish overnight by themselves.
Yeah,
they take a long time. And so we had a series that we were going to release, and then we were like, well, it's been a long time since the channel had kind of been active. Let's try and find our own distribution for it. And it was really, really tough to find people who would, answer our emails, pick up their phone when we called and everything. And so I was like, well, I've got a long history of releasing web series. A lot of what I had done for some IPF series for many years was kind of running the social media and the audience engagement side of things. And I thought, you know what, like I might as well do that for myself for a change. And we released the series. It's called Amortal. It's still on the channel. And people started watching again. We started seeing a few more people coming back and the audience growing. And it was like, oh, well, what else do we have sitting around on hard drives? And there were a bunch of short films that were well done their festival circuit. And it was like, what do you do with those when they're done the festival route? And so I called up my producing partners at the time and was like, hey, do you guys mind if we, throw those up now and keep this thing going? And they were like, yeah, sure. It sounds like fun. So threw up a couple of other shorts. And then in the process of doing that, other actors and creators that were involved in those shorts reached out saying, hey, I've got 2 or 3 sitting on a hard drive as well. Do you want to put those up? And of course, happy to kind of have a space and a platform to keep putting it out. And it kind of just snowballed from there.
I was going to say, it seems like it was just like a rolling sort of thing.
Yeah, it was just, it was actually really striking and interesting to see how many people had stuff that they either were struggling to get out there, didn't know what to do with it now that it was finished, had done a festival route and it was just sitting around, and really fantastic content, like fully, like yourself, a fully finished web series that was
nowhere to live right now. Yeah.
An incredible cast, very well put together, hilarious, and needed a home. And I think, that was one of the things as a filmmaker that I always was like, it's such a struggle with all of the, like, everything kind of feels really gate kept and hard to get out to. Yeah. But I was like, it doesn't necessarily need to be that tough. I think there's enough places that need content, that especially good content that's hard to find. Mm-hmm. And I really wanted to just have a place where it was like, do some of the podcast things as well, to do some interviews where it's like provide a platform for the filmmakers as well to come and say their piece about what their journey was like making those films, and hearing those stories I think is really compelling. So having a kind of a centralized place for short films and short form content has been really, really fun to grow and gratifying to see an audience actually engage with it.
Now, yeah, I agree. Like, I think there's not a lot. We have like the 3 large networks in Canada, and that's the one thing about living in a country that is so spaced out with our demographics. It's all kind of conglomerated into like 3 major cities. We have Rogers, we have Bell, and we have other like Chorus or Shaw or what have you. And it's limiting. Like, if you have a project, after you've sort of, and I mean, it's changed now with streaming, but even then streaming is taking a little more hesitant to take on new projects. There's the Netflix and the Amazon Primes, and Paramount Canada was here for a while. So the question, I guess, is, where do you see Image Killer growing, and what would you like to see as far as like digital media and, YouTube digital shorts? What would you like to see? What's the main goal for your channel and your distribution channel?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been an experiment. So, the first and not great answer is, let's just see how far it can go.
Yeah, of course.
But, realistically, like, from, a more traditional distribution standpoint, getting it Cavco affiliated is key.
Yeah.
Just because that gives the filmmakers that have content on the platform an extra tool that they can use towards financing, having that letter of intent to kind of release the content once it's finished. They can kind of use that and know that they can trigger their tax credits if it's a Cavco affiliated channel.
Right.
So I'd say, that's the most like next major milestone I'd say that would be coming in there. And then just kind of, hopefully getting it to a point that through either sponsorships or ad revenue, there's enough money to create new content or subsequent seasons of popular shows with handsome creators.
Yes, that is the main goal for sure. No, I think it's great. I do think it's great because, there's the CSAs have a big, digital kind of category, and I think there's a benefit to having projects on multiple platforms. We saw one of my co-stars, Aisha Evelina. She is won the Canadian Screen Award with her show on Narcity. It was like a Narcity YouTube channel. Yeah. So it's a great example of like, oh, sorry guys, it's my co-star calling me. Great example of the small guy winning. I hate like the small guy, quote unquote. Yeah. Katie, you're a member, obviously, and now president of Web Series Canada. Chime in. Like, now that you're president, what do you want to see change in the web series world? What kind of growth are you trying to, accomplish? Do you see a place where web series becomes larger? You know what I mean? Like much, much larger.
Much
Than what
larger
it is now.
in budget or in just more people making them?
I know that was a really bad descriptive word. I guess a little bit of both. Do you want to see a growth in Canadians creating their own projects? And do you want to see a growth in Canadian projects budget-wise? Do you want to see more opportunity for Canadians so that they're easier access to creating these projects? And do you want to see a place where web series become more popular in Canada?
Yes. I think web series is a wonderful place for creatives who want to eventually work in longer format series to cut your teeth, learn about financing, the business side, and like work out your creative and find your voice. I sometimes describe it as what the OHL is to the NHL. It is a smaller budget, but the process is the same. Like it's all the same. So I really believe in web series as talent development, and some of them are incredible as well. Like, whatever, Less Than Kosher, and Day Players is amazing. There's a lot of like very high quality web series, and then they range the gamut, as do all films and all art. Like there's always a range, no matter the format. But yeah, I hope that it continues to grow and that more Canadian talent gets a chance to tell their stories, because I really believe that Canada exports a lot of talent for our small population. A lot of actors, a lot of musicians, a lot of writers. Like I don't know if it's because it's cold, but we are a very creative nation. And I think developing that talent is it's something that is so important to our culture and something that Canadians do really well.
That's well said. I agree. I think there is a world where like web series is eventually going to take over as far as popularity. Like it already is becoming more and more popular. Every day I'm seeing like on Instagram, I'm like, oh my God, I know this actor is doing this. I know that actor doing this. We're seeing a lot of like B-lister, A-lister Canadian celebs doing web series now because of how easy there is, how much easy access there is to a camera, like a cinematographer, a director, a writer, a producer. Guys, I'm going to wrap it up real quick because we do have our stream in the next 10 minutes. Any last thoughts on distribution, on, short form content, digital content that you want to share, that if anyone is asking in the world, that we can let them know is available, or give them the information that they think they need to know about?
Well, I think Web Series Canada is a great resource. We help emerging creators. We have an incredible national coaching program where you can meet showrunners, executives, directors, producers, lawyers across the country. It's pretty special. And we run a bunch of events and panels throughout the year with funders and distributors and all of the things. So I hope that helps. And I hope that it can, sometimes as a creator, it can feel really isolating and daunting, but you can do it. And if you're not a writer, find a writer. And if you're not a producer, find team up with the people who are your peers, and always kind of look up, and also pull people up with you, and you'll be surprised how far you can go.
Well said. Michael, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I think that's fantastic advice. I'm going to echo that Web Series Canada is a fantastic resource. I've attended the panels. I've used the resources before. They're phenomenal. And also gonna echo that, just start. I think it's very kitschy to say that, and everyone seems to say it, but it's true. It's like, the more that you actually do something, release something, put it out there, the more you meet other like-minded people, and the easier it is the next time. And especially on that, like one of the major benefits that I see with web series is that audience relationship that you get to have in a much more intimate environment versus, when you get into, TV and film, there ends up being so many, marketing, PR, network executives that are kind of layering in between you and talking directly to your audience. So yeah, definitely just get out there, use the resources, and take some swings.
Sweet. Well said. Wiser words have never been uttered on this show. Katie Uhlmann and Michael Davison, image killer and the new president of Web Series Canada, as well as producer Katie. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to go to a quick commercial break, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to then come on back to the same channel, and we're going to do a little bit of a watch party, and we're going to try to get some more people to watch our show by triggering the algorithm. So in the meantime, here is a commercial from our sponsor, and then we will be right back.